Now I'm honored to introduce Suzanne Farver, our board chair. Suzanne has served on the Presidio board for 5 years and as board chair for 2. She came to us with a strong background in nonprofit management, serving as the Aspen Art Museum Executive Director and the Rocky Mountain Institute Finance Committee. She has been tireless in working to improve the governance of our school in accord with principles of sustainable management. As I have come to know Suzanne, I have come to have a deep appreciation for the way she combines her calm ways with humility, firmness, courage, compassion, and generosity. Please welcome Suzanne.
Thank you, Dwight. And thank you for your long time and most capable service to this school. We greatly, greatly appreciate it. I'd also like to thank Carla Walter for her leadership as provost and now interim president over these past few months, as well as our incredible faculty and administrative staff. In addition, I'd like to recognize the hard work and dedication of our board, especially First Vice Chair Saskia Feast and Secretary Rebecca Helzel, who are here today, and our Finance Chair and Treasurer Malcolm Walter, no relation to Carla. We would not be here celebrating this day if it weren't for all these folks, as well as to you students and your families and all of your support community. We're all here in this together. And that allows me now to say, congratulations, graduates. It's an honor for me to be here today to celebrate Presidio Graduate School and to honor the memory of Dick Gray. He was a mentor to me as well, and I will miss him. His idea that knowledge can be taught, but that values must be caught, is personified in the PGS teaching methods. By developing teams and learning from one another, you graduates now have the tools to be real leaders in our communities, both from the business standpoint and from the public policy standpoint. You know how to develop a common vision and then work together to achieve goals to support that vision. I'm very grateful to be a part of this community, and I know we all share the same vision for an equitable world where businesses and communities can thrive while respecting our ecosystems and social needs. That rings true, especially now. I look forward to hearing about your accomplishments as alumni of this great little powerhouse of a school. You, our students and alumni, are our greatest resource, and we appreciate you and are excited about your future. But now, it's my privilege to introduce the guest speaker, which is what I'm supposed to be doing, right? Yet I digress. I first met Bill Ritter when he was running for governor of Colorado in 2006. He probably doesn't remember me then, but he was visiting the Aspen area, and I attended a gathering at a friend's house to hear what he had to say. I was impressed by his passion for the environment, but also at the same time, he seemed to have a common sense approach about regulations and government policy. I knew from my own studies that regulations can help responsible companies thrive if they are reasonable and if they're created in a respectful and open manner. Bill seemed to have that approach, and his legacy has proven that to be true. Born in Colorado and raised on a small farm on the Eastern Plains, he was the 6th of 12 children. Right there, that gives you an idea of how he learned to get along with people and figure out how to succeed. Anybody coming out of a family that size would have to have an idea of how to communicate and how to work with a variety of personalities. And succeed he did, majoring in political science at Colorado State University and receiving a law degree from the University of Colorado. In the late 1980s, he traveled to Zambia, Africa, with his wife, Jeannie, to operate a food distribution and nutrition center. Then he returned to Colorado to serve as Denver's district attorney from 1993 to 2005, where he developed a national reputation as an innovative and effective prosecutor. As governor of Colorado, Bill found a way to balance the energy needs of the state with the environmental concerns that he developed over his lifetime. A good listener in his campaign, he was able to take what he'd learned from the ranchers and natural gas developers on the western slope and drive comprehensive rules and regulations for the oil and gas industry. The rules and expanded regulatory commission developed under his leadership served to guide other states around the nation to develop better rules and regulations for methane measurement and control, and for responsible management of water and discharges from oil and gas development. At the same time, he led the effort to enact a 30% renewable energy standard for Colorado, one of the first in the country at the time, except maybe for California. All of this in a relatively conservative state was a significant achievement. The new energy economy was a key plank in the governor's platform for election, and after he left office, he went on to head up the Center for the New Energy Economy at Colorado State University, where he serves today. The goal of this center is to work directly with state policymakers, including providing technical assistance to help create policies that work for the industry, as well as to facilitate our transition to a clean energy economy nationwide. In his recently published book, Powering Forward, he announces his vision for how this transition can happen and how it can be revolutionary for our country and the world in tackling the challenges of climate change. As part of this work, he chairs the board of the Energy Foundation, which provides grants and promotes partnerships to many worthy organizations around the world to enable a clean energy future, and where we have a Presidio graduate serving as Director of Strategic Partnerships, Megan Crocker. He also serves on the board of the Advanced Energy Economy Institute, which is a nonprofit educational organization formed to promote a better public understanding of advanced energy and its market potential. Two great organizations in alignment with the mission of our school. I'm sure you'll be inspired and motivated by what Bill has to say today as you enter your own revolutionary careers in sustainability management. Please welcome former Governor Bill Ritter.
Thank you, Suzanne. I really do appreciate that very nice introduction. It is a great privilege to be here and to be a commencement speaker for all of you on this really important day. Congratulations to you. Congratulations to all your family and friends. And it's a privilege, as I said, to have this invite. Edgar Mitchell was an astronaut on Apollo 14 and actually walked on the moon. On seeing the Earth from the moon the first time, he said, "You develop an instant global consciousness, a people orientation, an intense dissatisfaction with the state of the world, and a compulsion to do something about it." From out there, on the moon, international politics looks so petty. You want to grab a politician by the scruff of the neck and say, "Look at that, you son of a bitch." I had the great fortune of being in Paris, France in 2015 when the Paris Accords were signed. 187 nations basically made their commitments, and within 6 or 7 months had signed on the dotted line committing to the accord. I was there to speak for the United States State Department about the role that states, cities, counties could play in helping nations meet their targets. And it was truly a good day for international politics. It was a historic moment. This last week, the United States of America walked back from our commitment when the president announced that he was withdrawing. And this is not intended to be a political speech. This just happened to be the reality of the last week that I think we deal with in talking about the thing that you have done for the last couple of years in the world of sustainability. So I'm not talking about Trump being a good guy or a bad guy, but he walked away from our commitment in Paris, and the United States of America looked around and said, then who will lead? Who will lead? I work with governors on a daily basis to try and make this clean energy transition happen. There's a great deal being talked about regarding cities in the United States, states in the United States, corporations in the United States, still committing to all of those things that were part of our agreement with the international community. It was about climate change, yes. It was about greenhouse gases, yes. But at the end of the day, it was really about the planet's sustainability. And so there's all this activity still happening, some from political leadership, some from corporate leadership. But as I thought about my remarks since Thursday and the walking back of the Accord and sort of getting to San Francisco and thinking about you, and then going to an alumni event last night where your alumni were given awards for things that they're involved in that are meaningful and impactful, I thought, we shouldn't just look for leadership among CEOs or governors or mayors. We have to look for leadership from you. And it's really part of your studies that you've had the ability to think about leadership and sustainability and this tie to leadership. So having been a governor, having run a district attorney's office for 12 years, I want to share with you some of my thinking about leadership. I can't say it's my own work. I read a book one time called Heroic Leadership, and it was probably one of the best templates for leadership I'd ever seen. And the author is a person who was a Jesuit seminarian. He looked at Jesuits, a religious order in the Catholic faith, but looked at Jesuits and said there are 4 pillars to leadership. And I think about this now, and I screen those 4 pillars when I think about anybody in political or corporate or university leadership. The first thing that's a quality of a leader is a very heightened sense of self-awareness. How well do you know yourself? How well do you know where you're strong or where you're not so strong and need others to kind of complement the things that you don't do as well? How well do you know that? How willing are you to admit that? The second is ingenuity. How much can you take a problem and just give it an 8th turn so you think about it differently than maybe anybody else has, or maybe most people do? How do you do that? So it's this question of self-knowledge, a question of ingenuity. And the third thing I think is so important and something we're getting so wrong in the United States of America, it's leading out of love and not fear. Leading out of love and not fear. If you love the globe, if you love ecosystems, if you love rivers, if you love high peaks, if you love 4 seasons, there's a lot of reason to do this. If you love people, there's even more. Leading out of love and not fear. And the last one is really, again, a very important component to all this. If we turn to you, the graduates of 2017, the Presidio Graduate School, and say, and now you have to have heroic ambition. Heroic ambition. It was interesting, this discussion about Dick Gray and how you talked about he would encourage you to be bold. He would encourage you to take on intractable challenges and respond to intractable challenges with your own effort. This may be just a different way of saying it, but you have to have heroic ambitions. Because there are going to be leaders in this world that will disappoint us where sustainability is concerned. There will be leaders in this world who will make trade-offs and who will make compromises regarding our ecosystems, and we really don't have the luxury of tolerating it. We need from people like you to be heroically ambitious. And the final thing I'll say is that with all of that, with what I call the 4 pillars of leadership, with all of it, these questions that are out there in the world of sustainability or energy systems or global warming or climate change, those things sound like they're science questions. I don't think they're just science questions. I think they're moral questions. And I think there's a justice element to everything we should think about in the world of sustainability. Whether that justice element is what's the fair and just thing for people who lack any access to energy in sub-Saharan Africa or parts of India or other places where there's extreme poverty. What's justice for those people? What's justice for people in the United States of America who have a very difficult time paying their energy bill? Can we make this clean energy transition and still think about their situation as a situation that requires justice systems thinking? Or even in communities of people who have mined coal for generations. I'm not one of those people that demonizes coal. I demonize carbon. Demonize CO2. It just happens to be coal is a big source of it. Now there's this transition out of coal, but there are communities that are left without economic vitality. And we have to think about how we manage that transition for those families and those communities in a just way that's fair to them and that respects and honors the kind of work they've done to help build a manufacturing sector in America or help build really a middle class that's the envy of the rest of the world. What's justice? And so with all of the things that you're setting about to do, I'd ask you to take the lens of leadership and just ask how well you know yourself. Ask again whether you're able to take something apart with a little bit of an ingenious track that nobody else has, whether you're willing to lead out of love and not fear, whether you're heroically ambitious, and can you put that all in a context of a moral question? And not just a moral question, but a moral imperative that Immanuel Kant once said, the thing we must do. Congratulations, and God bless you.